Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a M340d Xdrive Touring behind me. It's finished off in an individual spec. I'm going to go through every single detail about this car. I'm really excited. It belongs to a good friend of mine, ZedCoding. If you're in the BMW scene, you'll know all about Zed. He codes every single BMW out there. I'll leave all of his details in the description below as well. So he's taken delivery of this car and I've taken it straight off him to do a review. So yeah, I'm going to go through every single thing about this car, from the spec, especially the colour, and then take you on those country lanes, give you my driving impressions on this car. I am so excited to actually have this car on the channel. Let's go and have a look at this in a little bit more detail. So the M340d Touring. Now this colour is absolutely stunning. You can see that the sun is just bouncing straight off it there. This is an individual Verde Ermes metallic paint. Bit of a mouthful, but a lot of people, when they look at this car, they kind of think it's like a wrap, but honestly it's an individual paint and it just looks so damn stunning. From the front end, it's an LCI model, so you've got the matrix LED headlamps. It's an M340d, so you've got this kind of honeycomb design grille. It does open up when it needs cooling, and around the bottom end of the bumper, you've got this individual kind of splitter, which is an aftermarket one, which I think it looks really stunning. So these alloys are the 19-inch alloy wheels. They're wrapped in Pirelli P0 tyres. I'm sure Zed at some point is probably going to put a set of Michelins on here as well, but I think what looks quite nice is the fact that they're in black and you've got a red caliper. And then from here you can see that the red caliper looks so nice against the green individual paint. All M-like cars now come with like the M-style mirror covers, which I think look quite nice, and in this instance here they're in gloss black, which again break up the paint nicely. This one has got the OEM factory fit side skirts as well, which again it kind of breaks up the whole kind of paintwork on the car. You've got the gloss black highline going around the window surrounds, the black mirror covers, the gloss black side skirts and the black wheels. And from this distance here, the car just looks so stunning, man. So the rear quarter profile is probably one of my favorites at the moment. It's probably the best looking Touring out there. I'm not saying that because I'm a BMW fanboy. I genuinely think that this looks way better than like a Mercedes or an Audi right now. It's the little details that really do it for me. Like, so for example, on the rear window here, you've got these kind of like spats that kind of just make the back end look a little bit more profiled. You've got obviously the rear spoiler as well. So if you move towards the bottom of the rear bumper, you've got the twin exit exhaust tips and you've got a carbon diffuser. Now I'm told that that's a genuine BMW part and it's quite a pricey option. So from the rear end, I think it looks really classy. So what I really like about BMW Tourings is you can just open up the hatch, put something in the boot, get something out and close the hatch rather than opening up the whole tailgate. Guys, I really hope that you're enjoying this content on this G21 M340d Xdrive. If you are, go ahead and smash that subscribe button because it just motivates me to get more cars like this on the channel. This car is pretty standard in terms of, like, say, power. The only upgrades or modifications that I'm told that this car's got is that it's sitting on M Performance lowering springs. It's got the adaptive suspension already, but it's slightly lowered on M Performance lowering springs, and it's got 10mm spacers all around, which I think kind of give the car a nice kind of stance, because usually they do sit quite tall on these. So yeah, this is profiled exactly how I would want to have it. So if you move on to the interior of the car, it's pretty much like a usual affair here. It looks the same as any other G20, G21. You've got a nice leather wrapped steering wheel. You've got the twin displays running iDrive operating system 8. You've got a head-up display over there as well, which is a nice option to have. You've got a 8-speed ZF gearbox, although you don't have like a gear stick anymore, it's just like a switch. But the feature that I like in this Touring is you've got a real nice panoramic glass roof. These seats are like M Performance seats as well. You've got like an M badge in there. I don't think that lights up, but the seats look really comfortable anyway, and they are electrically operated as well. So let's just move to the rear of the car, but before I do that, you can see all the fleck going off in this paint. It's an absolutely stunning color, which I really love. The seats, as you can see, they are like one-piece seat from the rear here. You got quite a bit of space in the back here as well. You got some climate controls for the rear passengers and plenty of light as well because of that panoramic glass roof. So of course this is going to be a highly spec'd M340d, so it's got all the safety features like auto emergency braking, lane departure, it's got the 360 surround camera, it's got the Harman Kardon. It's what you expect from like a premium looking touring, and especially being like an M340d, it's got all of that as well. I am just so excited to actually have this to review, and I'm so excited the fact that it's actually got that paint color. That paint color is just amazing. I mean, you just got like a Maserati that goes past there. I'd rather be in this, if I'm honest. So let's see what's under the bonnet or hood if you're American. That is a 3-litre straight 6 diesel engine, turbocharged. It produces something in the region of about 340-350 horsepower and in excess of 600 newton meters of torque. 0 to 60 in something like 4.6 seconds, mated to the 8-speed ZF gearbox. I'm gonna really see how this car performs in real life driving. We don't all live on a racetrack, we don't all have like an airstrip in the backyard as well, so it's gonna be about how this car performs in day-to-day driving, and that's what I'm going to focus on in this vid. Okay, so the time has now come to give the car a start up, and I'm going to give it some revs so you can hear what this car sounds like from those twin exit exhaust pipes. So yeah, give it a start up. So the car does sound quite diesely, which it does because it's a diesel, but I must say that the engine is silky smooth. It's BMW's finest 3-litre straight 6 diesel that they produce, or were producing, and I'm going to come on to that shortly. So behind the wheel of this M340d. Now just before we get on those country lanes, I want to talk to you guys about what I just said now about this 3-litre diesel and what BMW are planning to do with it. So as the news about the 1 Series facelift has kind of been up there in the headlines in the BMW motoring world, which I'm going to cover on another vid, I also read that BMW's 3 Series has been under the nip and tuck again for an LCI 2. Now on the face of it, it doesn't look much different to this anyway, which is probably a good thing because I think this model, in the way it looks, it's quite fresh. But what they have done is they've ditched some engines and they've streamlined their kind of engine lineup. So for the UK and maybe even for Europe, what they've done is they've streamlined the engine lineup, and they're only going to be offering petrol engines only in the form of a 320i. Well, I've done a video on that, so you can watch that. I'll leave that in the description below. A 330e, which is the hybrid, and then the M340i, which is obviously the M-Lite B58 derivative, you know, and as a kind of like a performance type of 3 Series. Then obviously you've got your M3 Touring and the Saloon and the M4. So what does that mean for the M340d? Well, they're not going to be making these anymore, which kind of means you won't really be able to buy a brand new one of these in 2024, which then means that you can only buy one of these as a used car. This is obviously a 2023 model, and I think Zed has done the right thing in actually buying one of these. And the reason why I think this is a real good kind of compromise in terms of, let's say you want a performance car but you don't want to have a 3-litre petrol because of the running costs, whether that's, you know, the M340i, I think this will fit the bill. But unfortunately you're not going to be able to, like, say, place an order on these shortly, like for a brand new one. Now on this drive I'm going to try and explore how this car is against some of, like, say, its own kind of siblings like the 340i, and even like, say, my M4, which is obviously the F82, and kind of put across whether this is all the car that you guys or anyone ever needs from a performance, economy, that kind of a thing. So I've got the car set up in Sports Plus mode. I'm not going to beat around the bush and try economy and all of that stuff. I'm on the country lane. This is how the car should be here, and I must say it picks up speed really quickly. It's fairly quiet. I've got the pan roof tilted as well, just to keep, like, the cabin afresh. But I must say that, you know, this car doesn't really lack any performance. Being a diesel, it's really relaxed. You know, you're not having to work the engine hard, which I kind of accept that kind of takes away, like, some of the magic. But it's so flexible, you know, like in terms of you prod the throttle, you're in the power band straight away anyway, and you're up to speed and you've closed the gap very quickly. what, it doesn't even sound that bad on the fly. Now I know a lot of that sound's going to be pumped through the speakers and whatnot, but it actually sounds pretty decent and it goes really well. The driving position, I can't even complain. I mean, these seats are really supportive. The driving position, like BMW, you know, they nail it all the time anyway. I've never ever got into a BMW and feel like, you know, I can't get comfortable. I mean, this is like a real nice place to be. And being the LCI with these flanked dual screens as well, you got all the tech. Yes, you don't have some of, like, say, the physical buttons. They're all embedded within the iDrive, something that you'll have to just get used to. Everyone's going that way, but it's such a nice cabin to be in. Now this is a corner which I took in an M340d Xdrive and I lost the back end. Yeah, no problem in this one. And that was at the same speed as well. Right, Zed. Sorry man, but I think I need to launch your car. Now that is quick. Now I know I don't have any like timing gear or anything like that, but if BMW say this is 4.6 seconds to 60, I'm sure that was quicker than that. Absolutely phenomenal. So the dilemma I always kind of find myself is, why would you have a Touring or let's say an SUV, that kind of a thing? Personally, I kind of think that I prefer Tourings, and the reason I prefer that is because with an SUV, you are buying one because you want the lofty driving position, and you do feel like, let's say if this was an, I don't know, an X3 M40D, it would be quite an epic car, that as well, but you would feel a lot of like lofty driving. You probably feel a lot of lean as well. This being quite low to, let's say, the ground, the road, you don't really get a lot of that lean. And this also being lowered on, like say, M Performance springs as well, it's sitting that little bit more lower, so I feel like you're getting the same amount of space inside the car as like an SUV. So why not just buy a Touring? I mean, you got like a spacious boot, you got like say seating for 4, you know, you can get like a child seat in the back, probably even in the front as well, and that's the same what you're going to do with like say an SUV. I mean, the boot's quite big. I'd always buy a Touring over an SUV. I mean, I've had a few SUVs and like I kind of think, yeah, you know what, I'd rather have a performance Touring rather. I'm going to put the car in manual mode now. I think I just tug on the paddles. I'm just going to give it some. Boy, this car is quick. What an engine. And what a gearbox. I mean, this, when you're upshifting, it kind of gives you that little kick as well. Man, this thing is quick, you know. I honestly think this is quicker than the numbers actually suggest. It's got plenty of pull, this thing has. The best thing about this, right, is the fact that you can be like going full blast and I'm still getting 38 mpg out of this thing. Crazy. What an engine, man. What an engine this is. See, this is why I like M-Lite cars. I've had like the M140i back in, what, 2017, 2018, whenever that was. The M-Lite cars, they give you a lot of performance. They give you quite a bit of usable performance as well, to a point. And they are usable every day. A full fat M car, you gotta really like push the car to get the best out of it, whereas an M-Lite, it's economical. It kind of slips under the radar unless you look at like the badge at the back, and if you know, like say, the styling and you can point one out, that's the only way you're going to know it, and you're not going to be like say intimidated at every sort of traffic light that you encounter with like some other hot hatch or anything like that. This is like the sweet spot for like say performance. You've got like a straight 6 diesel engine, you've got plenty of poke, you've got usable power, and you've got a usable daily car in this as well. And I think that's what the M340d for me ticks all the boxes. You know, would I have one of these, like say coming out of my M4 at some point? Oh yeah, I would, definitely. It would probably be like the perfect family lugger for me. The M4 obviously isn't a family lugger, but this would definitely be that car, 100%. So one way of justifying buying an M340d is as follows. You want a performance car, but you want something that's practical because life's taken over and you've got your 2.4 kids. The wife wants a new kitchen, so you can't be blowing your money on fuel bills every week. So therefore, you buy yourself an M340d, which means that everything is in check. Guys, I'm going to try and wrap up my thoughts on this. It's a fantastic looking car, this is, especially in the way this has been sort of set off, like the Verde Ermes metallic paint on this thing. It blows people's minds. The amount of times people have kind of stopped me while I was filming throughout to say, where did you get that wrap done from? It's not a wrap, it's actual paint. This whole performance, this whole package comes together really well. The way this car's set off with, like, you know, the splitter, the diffuser, the side skirts, the alloy wheels, the whole color combination is amazing. It's a tech fest. I really hope that you have found this useful. If you are looking to, let's say, buy an M340d, trust me guys, you are not going to be disappointed one bit. I mean, there's plenty of you guys that already own these cars, so hopefully you can relate to what I'm saying. If you have found this vid informative, entertaining, definitely give it a like, hit the subscribe button, because I'll probably get more cars like this to do vids on. Huge shout out to my friend Zed. If you're looking to get your car coded, hit Zed up. I'll throw his Instagram, his contact details in the description of this vid. Top guy as always, and you know, huge thanks to Zed for actually letting me loose on this car as well. Give it a little bit more play here. Hopefully guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care, bye.